Do you know someone who is functional on the outside, but fractured on the inside? Protesting. Is it changing anything? Let's start thinking differently. If protests really worked, there would be visible change. We are still protesting. There has been no change. Actually, things have been getting worse. Why? Because when we are anti something, whatever we are anti has to exist. Healing with the Rev podcast is going to bring you comfort, build community, and give you some inspiration to move forward. Pro peace. For those of you who are old enough to remember who Mother Teresa was, Mother Teresa during the Vietnam War was asked to come to an anti-war rally. She said, I will not be there, but when you have a peace rally, invite me, I will come. She understood the difference between anti whatever and peace. So let's be for peace. And peace does not mean sitting on your butt doing nothing. It's very active. I'm Reverend Teresa Heipel. I am your host of Healing with the Rev podcast. I have lost loved ones to death. I am here to honor your faith tradition, and here you can find peace, calm, and clarity. Peace starts with community building, one person at a time, standing for something rather than against something. When we stand for, we're taking a stance for what we want. Anti-war, anti-ICE, or whatever is going on today as you are listening to this, whatever we are anti really does have to exist. We're giving power over to whatever it is we are wanting to not exist. If we want to abolish something, we need to be pro whatever that is. For this, we want pro peace. We want to be for peace. I don't think anyone would argue with me about that, but they haven't changed their mindset from something negative to something positive. So let's build something positive in this world. Peace building starts with faith. Whatever your faith is, whether it's Christian, Jewish, Islam, or anything else, I say have a faith in a higher power somewhere, because life gets difficult. And when life gets difficult, sometimes we don't know what to do with that. Building with faith, people are coming together. They're learning together. They're expounding their beliefs. They're expounding justice. And aren't we all wanting social justice? Seriously. Drum circles. It's a great way to release pent-up emotions. At my church, we have a drum circle. And when I go there, I can pound on the djembe drums, as you'll see on this picture. There's a lot of djembe drums. It's a great way because you can come up with your own rhythm and you can come up with your own chant in your head. It's pretty awesome. The podcast format, we're going to have real stories. I'm probably going to be talking more than doing interviews. I have a lot of experience in a lot of different things. I'm going to give you some practical tips and some uplifting interviews as we go along. Expressions of heartache, honoring our pain. This woman is feeling the weight of her loss. Whatever that loss is, she is not sure she wants to face reality. Sometimes reality is really difficult because reality is not someplace where we want to be. But we are here and we are now. And if you're listening to this, you're paying attention. So you are present in this moment. She appears to be afraid to see what is in front of her, whether she lost a spouse or a friend or a child or lost a job, gone into retirement, doesn't know what to do with her time. There's so many different kinds of ways of heartache, so many expressions of heartache. And whatever you're feeling, know that you are in great company and everything you feel is all good. And so I would ask you to continue to watch these podcasts because they're going to be informative. Some of them are about loss of some sort. Some of them are about these protests and peace and how we can move forward. Honor yourself by doing what is right for you in the moment. Welcome back to Steady by Design. I'm Teresa. Today we go into one of the most painful rooms in the human emotional house: shame, embarrassment, that searing sense of wanting to disappear, to sink into the floor, to erase what happened, to take back the moment that exposed you. If you are carrying shame right now, whether it's fresh or decades old, I want you to know something important before we go any further. Shame lies. It always has. And by the end of this episode, I hope you'll be able to hear its voice a little differently. Surface it. Shame in the body. Shame has one of the most distinctive physical signatures of any emotion: the dropped head, the avoiding of eye contact, heat in the face, blushing, a desire to physically curl inward, make yourself smaller, a feeling of exposure as if your inadequacy is somehow visible to everyone, sometimes a freezing, an inability to speak, to explain, to respond. Brene Brown, who has studied shame for decades, describes it as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed, and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Notice that definition carefully. The belief that we are flawed, not that we did something wrong, that we are something wrong. That is the crucial distinction between guilt and shame. Guilt says, I did a bad thing. Shame says, I am bad. Where are you carrying shame right now? Can you locate it in your body? Understand it, where shame comes from and how it survives. Shame is learned. Every human being comes into this world without shame. Infants have no shame. It is taught to us directly and indirectly by the environments we grow up in. Sometimes it is taught explicitly. You should be ashamed of yourself. Sometimes it is taught through silence. The things that were never spoken about, the emotions that were never allowed, the parts of yourself that you learned to hide because they made the people around you uncomfortable. And shame survives through secrecy. Shame cannot withstand being spoken. This is why it is so powerful and so paralyzing, because the very thing that would heal it is the thing that feels most impossible. Telling someone. You don't have to tell everyone, but you need to tell someone. A therapist, a trusted friend, a journal that goes directly into a locked drawer. The act of naming the shame, giving it air and witness, is the beginning of its end. When we come back from the break, we will talk about move through it and anchor it. Let's pause here for just a moment. This is what I call the steady moment. A pause to remember that peace in the world begins with peace inside us. One thing I've learned from working with people over many years is that the world does not become peaceful through more reaction. It becomes peaceful through more steadiness. When your nervous system is regulated, your thinking becomes clearer, your decisions become wiser, and your presence alone begins to influence the people around you. That's the work I do through what I call steady by design. I help people regulate stress, restore clarity, and return to peace, both in their bodies and in their lives. Because when we become steady inside ourselves, we stop reacting to chaos and begin creating stability in the world around us. And that is where real peace begins. Book your discovery call using this QR code. Now, let's continue. Welcome back. Let's move on with Move Through It. Move Through It, the antidote to shame. Shame says if they really knew, they would leave. Healing says someone can know and still stay. I want you to think just for a moment of one person in your life who has seen something imperfect about you and remained, who knows something real about your failures, your history, your struggles, and has not left. If you can think of one, let yourself feel that. Let the reality of someone's continued presence in your life, in spite of knowing something, be evidence against shame's story. If you cannot think of one, that tells me that isolation has been part of your experience, and the healing begins with finding one safe person, one therapist, one group, one space where you can be seen. You were never meant to carry this alone. Place your hand on your heart and say, silently or aloud, I am more than my worst moment. I am more than my mistakes. I am worthy of love and belonging. Anchor it. The truth shame has been hiding. Your flaws are not the whole story of you. Your mistakes are not a life sentence. Your worst moments are not your defining moments. You're a human being, complicated, imperfect, growing, trying, just like every other human being who has ever lived. The people who seem to have it all together, they are carrying shame too. They've just learned to perform flawlessness instead of risking authenticity. Authenticity, your real self with your real history, your real struggles, is not a liability. It is the only thing that makes genuine connection possible. Your anchor. I am not my shame. My story is not finished. I am worthy of love exactly as I am. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe here. Your follow and subscribe allows me to make better quality content for you. I will bring in guests on occasion. If this message resonates with you, I bring the Steady by Design framework to organizations, communities, and events that want to lead with clarity instead of reaction. I'd love to continue the conversation. Thank you for your bravery in showing up for this one. Steady by Design is in beta at steady-by-design.netlify.app. Until next time, stay steady. You are designed for this.